the Antarctic continent is in the clutches of an ice age. And also because of the ice age, Antarctica is by far the most fertile field for science left in the world.
When a military veteran with awards such as the Medal of Honor, Navy Cross, and Distinguished Flying Cross talks, it's important to pay attention. The last surviving member of Admiral Byrd's voyage has revealed a stunning fact. Antarctica is not the freezing wasteland we've been led to think. He believes that this icy continent could be a thriving land with a secret population who have lived there for years. Prepare to find out the frightening truth about Antarctica and what the authorities may be keeping from us. The freezing wasteland. Antarctica, the fifth largest continent, has always captivated humanity with its harsh conditions and enigmatic allure. Despite being completely covered in ice and extremely uninhabitable, it has a small population of 1,000 to 5,000 researchers at any given time. The continent's harsh nature and huge size have sparked several speculations about buried treasures beneath the ice. Some believe that Antarctica has thriving subsurface civilizations or extraterrestrial bases, implying that what we've learned about this cold wilderness is a vast cover-up. This would imply that the official story of Antarctica as an isolated and freezing wasteland may be concealing a considerably larger truth. Researchers are drawn to Antarctica not only for its scientific potential, but also because it may contain unknown and potentially revolutionary discoveries beneath its ice surface. Admiral Richard E. Byrd and his expeditions. Admiral Richard E. Byrd was one of the most decorated officers in the United States Navy, known for his outstanding exploits. He is the only individual to have been honored with 3 ticker tape parades in New York City, held in 1926, 1927, and 1930. These parades honored his tremendous achievements and contributions. Byrd is also one of just 4 American military officers to have worn a medal with their own portrait. Byrd's renown extends beyond his accolades to include his pioneering excursions. He was well known for venturing into areas that others deemed dangerous. His desire to be the first in every endeavor was nearly fanatical, which added to his collection of firsts. Notably, at 41 years old, Byrd became the Navy's youngest admiral, demonstrating his extraordinary career. His constant search for adventure led him to Antarctica, where he led multiple pioneering trips from the early 1900s until the 2000s. Byrd's expeditions in the hardest conditions solidified his reputation as a fearless and trailblazing adventurer. Admiral Richard E. Byrd led 5 major missions to Antarctica, each adding to his illustrious record. His first 2 journeys, which began in 1928, were self-funded and involved 2 ships and 3 aircraft. During these early excursions, Byrd performed extensive explorations while maintaining radio communication, obtaining critical images throughout the summer. Byrd's second voyage, which ran from the summer of 1933 to 1934, was particularly noteworthy. He worked alone for 5 months at an advanced base, which was a meteorological station put up for weather observation. This voyage almost ended tragically when Byrd was poisoned by carbon monoxide from a poorly ventilated stove. While the first 2 missions were innovative, they were rather uncontroversial. However, Byrd's third voyage, which took place from 1946 to 1947, received great attention. This was the first mission supported by the United States government, signaling a change in the nature of the expeditions. The increased government engagement underscored the strategic relevance of Byrd's work, making this mission the most talked about and scrutinized of his Antarctic expeditions. The reality of Operation High Jump. Admiral Richard E. Byrd conducted Operation High Jump, a major mission to Antarctica that established a research base dubbed Little America on the Ross Ice Shelf. This mission was part of a larger effort to better understand and address the challenges of operating in very cold weather. The need for such an operation stemmed from experiences learned during World War II, when it was clear that ships and aircraft could not operate well in Arctic conditions. Ships frequently froze, and planes flying from Greenland and Iceland crashed frequently as a result of harsh weather. To address these concerns, the United States developed innovative strategies for improving the performance of ships and airplanes in cold weather. The goal of Operation High Jump was to put these advances to the test in the severe circumstances of Antarctica. A naval task force was dispatched to perform extensive drills and map huge areas of the continent with the goal of either claiming land or satisfying the Pentagon's interest in the region's strategic worth. Admiral Byrd, with his wide expertise and reputation for bravery, was selected to oversee this audacious endeavor. The mission was so successful that it finished ahead of schedule. The findings from Operation High Jump resulted in significant advances in winterizing equipment. This preparedness was critical for future military requirements, especially in the event of a battle with the Soviet Union. One notable accomplishment was the modification of B-29 bombers to function in winter circumstances, allowing them to fly from Alaska. This operational preparedness confirmed the new tactic's usefulness, while also providing vital insights for future military and exploratory activities in severe conditions. Many have questioned the official explanation for Operation High Jump, which was supposed to be a routine military training. The operation required a massive mobilization of 14 ships, 33 planes, and around 4,700 heavily armed soldiers. This contained 2 destroyer tankers, 2 heavily armed seaplanes, and an attack submarine, all supplied with the most advanced weapons available. The scope of this deployment raises suspicions about its underlying intent, implying that it was more than just a routine drill. Some argue that Operation High Jump was more than just a training exercise, but a response to major world events. By December 1938, as Hitler prepared for the onset of World War II, he was also involved in a number of hidden and speculative projects. He was known to be interested in locating mystery artifacts that would offer him an advantage in the upcoming fight. This included experimenting with unorthodox concepts and secret missions. One such expedition began on December 17, 1938, when the German ship SAS Schwabenland set out for Antarctica on a covert mission. This expedition was led by scientists, engineers, and members of the Thule Society, a German occultist organization with severe racist views. The Thule Society was noted for its fascination with occult activities and mystical notions, including the belief in a highly sophisticated race of creatures known as the Aeons. According to their beliefs, these entities dwelt deep within the Earth, with the entrance to their domain located at the South Pole. This combination of military force and mysterious intrigue implies that the underlying goals of these Antarctic missions may have been more nuanced and perplexing than officially acknowledged. Hitler's secret mission. Hitler's secret goal for the SAS Schwabenland was to discover a location for a hidden base and make contact with an alleged race of Aryans dwelling within the Earth. The purpose was to gain access to their advanced technology for use in the approaching battle. The ship arrived on the Antarctic coast a month later and spent the next few weeks surveying enormous portions of the continent. They surveyed around 150 miles inland and uncovered what was called an Arctic oasis. This oasis, spanning approximately 300 square miles, was surprisingly devoid of ice and had warm water and plant life, which is unusual for Antarctica. The warmth came from a geothermal vent beneath the oasis, making it an ideal place for a base. The Germans purportedly used this place to create Base 2011, a subterranean facility that evolved into a large complex equivalent to a small city by the end of World War II. When the American government learnt of this development, it became apprehensive about Nazi activity in Antarctica. This prompted the planning of Operation High Jump. Operation High Jump was supposed to run between 6 and 8 months, but it was cut short after only 40 days. The Navy said that the operation stopped prematurely owing to the arrival of winter and worsening meteorological conditions. However, this argument appeared to contradict the fact that February in Antarctica is summer, which should have offered adequate conditions for their testing. The early conclusion of Operation High Jump prompted various conspiracy theories. Some suspected that something big had occurred in Antarctica, prompting the large naval force to return to the United States so swiftly. Questions developed regarding what the mission was actually supposed to accomplish and why it ended so abruptly. Was there an unexpected finding or contact that resulted in the quick evacuation? The official story did not match the facts, leading many to question the genuine nature of the events of those 40 days. The unusual circumstances surrounding Operation High Jump have fueled curiosity and fascination about what actually occurred in Antarctica. Byrd went missing in a mysterious city. A diary found on Admiral Byrd's aircraft revealed unexpected details regarding his strange 3-hour radio silence above the South Pole. During a live radio broadcast relayed by the Navy, Byrd was unexpectedly disconnected for nearly 3 hours, rendering everyone, even the Navy, unable to contact him or know his location. When Byrd's diary was released, it revealed details about the lost time. He noticed that when he flew over a small mountain range and went north, he came to an unusually lush valley with a river or stream flowing through it. Byrd anticipated to see ice and snow, not a lush green landscape. He also saw large woods blooming on the steep sides, which should not be feasible in Antarctica. Byrd stated that his navigation devices were malfunctioning, with the gyroscope swinging erratically, compounding his predicament. His diary entries indicated that he had discovered an undiscovered and incomprehensible territory, one that did not correspond to known maps or conditions. This oddity, combined with the unexpected loss of radio contact, sparked speculation about what Byrd could have discovered during those unexplained hours. Antarctica is notorious for its harsh cold, so finding warmth and lush plants there is somewhat unexpected. Admiral Byrd's diary detailed encounters with even stranger phenomena. During his flight, he lost sight of the sun, which was a major problem because he relied on it to navigate. The light surrounding him felt different, and he couldn't see the sun anymore. Byrd soon observed a big animal below, which he initially mistook for an elephant. However, upon closer investigation, he noticed it resembled a mammoth. He lowered his aircraft to 1,000 feet and used binoculars to determine that it was a mammoth-like beast. Byrd attempted to communicate his discovery to base camp, but his radio malfunctioned. As Byrd resumed his journey, he noticed what appeared to be a metropolis ahead, which seemed incomprehensible to him. The aeroplane felt unnaturally light, and the controls were unresponsive. Byrd noticed several disc-shaped aircraft approaching him. These discs were dazzling in appearance and had swastika-like markings. Byrd couldn't believe what he was seeing. The mystery metropolis and the disc-shaped aircraft sparked numerous inquiries. Was Byrd witnessing the contact of an alien civilization, an ancient hidden culture, or the Aryans that the Germans had been looking for? The precise nature of his discoveries remains a source of curiosity and intrigue. DNA proves living existence. A team of scientists had already discovered the place on which Admiral Byrd reported. They discovered a million-year-old DNA sample in the Scotia Sea, located just north of Antarctica. This ancient genetic material was retrieved from approximately 584 feet below the seafloor and was thought to originate from diatoms, a form of phytoplankton. Although the specifics of the DNA are unclear, its discovery was groundbreaking, implying that Antarctica may have undergone substantial modifications to become the cold continent it is today. With this fresh evidence in mind, scientists were keen to uncover more to back up their claim that Antarctica was once a warmer, more welcoming environment. They hoped to find remains of ancient plant and animal life to support their theory. To accomplish this, they embarked on a daring voyage to South Antarctica, enduring a 5-day trek via the infamous Drake Passage, famed for its harsh climate and deadly waves. Despite the difficult hurdles, the study team persevered, aiming to find traces of a bygone era. When they arrived at the shore of James Ross Island, they began their quest for fossils. Their perseverance soon paid off as they unearthed a trove of fossils going back to the late Cretaceous period, around 71 million years ago. These fossils contained a diverse range of marine organisms, dinosaurs, and even ancient birds. Among their most remarkable discoveries was a fossilized beetle with 4 wings, a species that lived approximately 20 million years ago. The most remarkable discovery was a 50-million-year-old sperm cell preserved in the egg case of an extinct worm species. This discovery was especially stunning because it challenged earlier notions about Antarctica's icy environment. The discovery of such ancient and diverse life forms prompted scientists to reassess their understanding of the continent's past. The researchers gradually developed a novel theory. They began to imagine that Antarctica was once a lush, tropical rainforest teeming with colorful plants and tall trees. This notion was backed by the discovery of dinosaurs and ancient bird bones, indicating that the continent had a considerably warmer and more dynamic climate in the distant past. The theory that Antarctica was once a thriving tropical paradise before becoming a frozen wasteland defied conventional wisdom and offered up new paths for research into the continent's historical climate and ecosystem. Byrd's diary reveals astonishing facts. When Byrd's radio finally worked, a voice with a Nordic or Germanic accent addressed him in English. The speaker told Byrd that they would help him land safely and that he was in capable hands. During the war, hearing someone with a German accent was uncomfortable, almost like trusting the enemy. Byrd felt trapped because his plane's engines had stopped operating and appeared to be under unusual control, directing the aircraft to a safe landing on its own. As Byrd gazed out of the window, he noticed 3 tall men with blonde hair coming. A vast city glistening with rainbow colors could be seen in the distance. The scene seemed strange. Byrd saw that the men lacked obvious weapons and heard a voice ask him by name to unlock the cargo door. He obeyed the directions, and he and his crew were led out of the plane and onto a small, platform-like conveyance with no wheels that brought them to the city. Byrd was astounded by the city's appearance. It seemed to be made of crystal-like elements, giving it a bright, unearthly appearance. They were escorted inside a vast building, where Byrd encountered the figure known as the Master. The Master was an elderly guy with delicate features and an aged appearance. He invited Byrd to sit at a long table, and when Byrd took his seat, the Master clasped his fingers and grinned. The Master replied softly, saying that Byrd was given access because of his noble character and reputation on the surface world. Byrd was taken aback when the Master disclosed that they were in the kingdom of the Ariani, who live within the earth, alluding to the hollow earth belief. This finding astonished Byrd, since it defied everything he knew about the planet and the universe. This discovery was tremendously upsetting, implying that our knowledge of the Earth's structure, and perhaps the entire cosmos, was fundamentally wrong. The idea of an advanced civilization concealed within the Earth was revolutionary, challenging all previous scientific beliefs. Byrd's meeting with the Master and sight into this hidden world represented a significant shift in understanding, raising serious questions about the nature of our planet and the universe beyond. The message for the world. Some people are firm believers in the concept of an entry to the Earth's center. This hypothesis dates back to the 1690s when English astronomer Edmund Halley proposed to the Royal Society of London that the Earth might be made up of multiple spherical shells that rotate around a central core. He postulated that the crevices between the shells could support life. In 1810, American commander John Cleve Sims expanded on Halley's notion, proposing that these inner realms could be visited via apertures at the North and South poles. Proponents of this hypothesis contend that the inner world could be inhabited by a variety of entities, including aliens, ancient civilizations, and even Nazis who supposedly sought refuge from the Allies. Some argue that biblical figures, such as Adam and Eve, were originally from within the earth and were banished to the surface, whereas the lost tribes of Israel allegedly traveled from the surface to the inner realm. Despite these claims, governments and scientific communities have overwhelmingly discredited the notion. However, if Admiral Byrd's claims are valid, it may imply that much of what we know about our planet is inaccurate, contradicting long-held beliefs. The Master emphasized to Admiral Byrd that he intended no harm and wanted to meet with him because Byrd was a respected individual whose thoughts were highly valued on the surface world. The Master then disclosed the reason for intercepting Byrd's plane. They needed to send a message about the ongoing atomic blasts in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These bombings were unprecedented and frightening, causing them to risk their reputation by dispatching flying ships to investigate the matter. This message's time frame correlates with a number of UFO encounters reported during that time period, many of which were near nuclear facilities. These sightings were followed by strange occurrences such as abrupt equipment failures or sabotage. For example, the Solway Spaceman case involves strange events at a nuclear reactor. These instances, if related to Byrd's meeting, imply that these creatures may have had a role in preventing future tragedies or managing nuclear hazards. The Master went on to emphasize his serious concern about humanity's misuse of sophisticated technologies. He saw that their ambassadors had previously attempted to warn the surface world of the perils of meddling with such powers, but their messages had been ignored. According to the Master, humanity was approaching a point of no return, with some people so determined to keep their power that they would destroy the world rather than give it up. He warned of an impending dark age, but also gave a ray of hope, implying that some people would survive the upheaval. The Master spoke of a future in which a new world will emerge from the rubble of the existing one. This new world would seek lost treasures and knowledge, which would be safeguarded by the Master's people. When the time came, they would return to assist in revitalizing human culture and science. The Master thought that by then, humanity would have realized the futility and destructive nature of war. He told Byrd that some components of human culture and knowledge will be restored to help rebuild society. Byrd was told to return to the surface with this important message. After getting the entire message, Byrd was led out of the room and back to his plane. He was directed out of the Crystal Metropolis, and as they left, a radio message informed him that he could now fly his plane. Byrd was left baffled and perplexed by the entire encounter. Despite his bewilderment, he was happy to see that his radio was now operational, allowing him to resume communication with the Navy. Byrd's meeting with the Master and journey into the inner realm left him with a tremendous sense of bewilderment and amazement. The specifics of the message and experience produced more questions than answers, questioning long-held beliefs and introducing new notions about the Earth and its hidden mysteries. Byrd's account of the experience would remain a source of dispute and curiosity, since the ramifications of what he saw may change our understanding of the planet and its history. The Pentagon's reaction. Admiral Byrd attended a Pentagon staff meeting on March 11, 1947, after his Antarctic mission came to an abrupt halt. During this encounter, Byrd revealed what he had witnessed and the message he received from the unknown inner world. Following his debriefing, Byrd was kept for about 7 hours and subjected to a comprehensive interrogation by senior security and medical personnel. He was given stern orders to remain silent about his experiences at Crystal City. The military emphasized that Byrd, as a member of the armed forces, had to follow these commands. Byrd's commitment to this command was clear. He rarely discussed his mission in public afterwards. The control applied against him was effective, but Byrd was able to document his experiences in a personal diary. This diary was later made public after his death, exposing his description of the astonishing events. After returning to Chile, the Navy's first stop before returning to the United States, Byrd was questioned by a Chilean journalist. During the interview, Byrd stated that the United States may confront an enemy capable of traveling from pole to pole. This comment seemed strange at the time, but once his diary was released, many assumed that Byrd was referring to the advanced civilization he discovered in Antarctica. The diary provides a stunning peek into Byrd's experiences and hints that his meeting may have consequences beyond conventional thinking. The death of Secretary of Defense James Forrestal added to the mystery surrounding Operation High Jump. According to official records, Forrestal jumped from a window at a psychiatric facility in Maryland in 1949, shortly after the procedure was completed. Forrestal had been an outspoken supporter of the theory that extraterrestrials existed and sought to tell the American public. His complaints were dismissed as insane, and he was committed to a psychiatric facility. His death, which was declared a suicide, destroyed his ability to shed light on Operation High Jump. Critics claim that many of the dramatic claims regarding Operation High Jump are overblown. For example, assertions that equipment problems were caused by alien intervention are debatable. The intense cold in Antarctica most likely caused numerous technological issues, which was one of the motivations for the voyage in the first place. Byrd's warnings concerning a potential threat from the South Pole most likely referred to suspected German actions rather than extraterrestrial entities. Sensationalist journalism frequently emphasizes minor incidents in order to gain attention and sell more stories, which may have led to overblown accounts. Furthermore, the diary purportedly documenting Byrd's astonishing findings was never confirmed to exist. Claims that Byrd was the first person to reach the North Pole were eventually disproven. Evidence revealed that Byrd did not reach the pole before other explorers, and the claim was eventually refuted. Despite these debates, there is always a lingering curiosity concerning the alleged events. One of the most remarkable aspects of the argument is how, despite various wars, countries frequently band together during times of global concern. This tendency for countries to band together and work in peace, despite their differences, is a striking demonstration of humanity's ability to collaborate on greater concerns. This cooperative mentality demonstrates a shared yearning for peace and stability, even when internal conflicts appear intractable. The Antarctic Treaty and more secrets. The Antarctic Treaty, enacted in the 1960s, imposes severe limitations on the continent of Antarctica. It was created to ensure that the region stays a zone of peace and scientific research, free of military activities and territorial conflicts. This pact restricts access to Antarctica, allowing only scientists and individuals with special permissions to visit. This has established a level of secrecy across the continent, raising numerous issues. A few businesses provide pricey cruises to Antarctica, but individuals who administer these programs are frequently affiliated with intelligence services. This relationship implies that the information offered to tourists may be filtered or controlled, adding to the sense of mystery. Despite the treaty's stated objective of conserving the environment and resources, the severe limits on travel to Antarctica add to the air of mystery and suspicion. In recent decades, there have been several reports of odd events in Antarctica. Witnesses reported seeing unidentified flying objects emerge from the ocean. While many disregard these reports, they add to the overall sense of mystery. Even though Admiral Richard E. Byrd's diary is commonly recognized as a forgery, it presents interesting questions. For example, Byrd went missing for 3 hours. During this time, his plane was out of communication, with no refueling stops. This inexplicable gap has fueled curiosity about what he may have seen during those hours. The death of Defense Secretary James Forrestal adds to the mystery surrounding Byrd. According to official sources, Forrestal supposedly jumped out a window at a psychiatric facility immediately after the Operation High Jump mission. Forrestal was recognized for his conviction in extraterrestrial life and declared a wish to educate the public about it. His death was officially ruled a suicide, although many believe it was due to his unpopular opinions and the sensitive nature of the information he had access to. Richard E. Byrd Jr., Byrd's son, died, adding another layer of intrigue. His body was located in an abandoned warehouse in Baltimore, and the official cause of death was starvation and dehydration. This explanation is concerning, given Byrd Jr.'s history and resources. Friends and family characterized him as being in good health and actively interested in many projects before his disappearance. The official report of his demise triggered multiple red flags. There have been reports of unidentifiable people seen around Byrd Jr.'s last known location. Witnesses noticed these people acting suspiciously and speculated that they were monitoring the area before Byrd Jr.'s abduction. Despite these claims, law enforcement did not fully investigate the leads, and the case was promptly closed. The lack of follow-up has fueled speculation that Byrd Jr.'s death was a deliberate attempt to silence him. Family reactions to Byrd Jr.'s death added to the mystery. While the Byrds officially accepted the official explanation, there were whispers of suspicion and unease. Some family members apparently hired private investigators to check into the circumstances surrounding Byrd Jr.'s death, but the results of these inquiries were never made public. Documents relevant to the investigation were either classified or missing, contributing to the case's secrecy. Journalists' and independent researchers' requests for transparency have regularly been refused, with many alleging national security concerns. The failure to share information has simply fueled more speculation and conspiracy theories. The merging of Admiral Byrd's controversial missions with the unexplained circumstances surrounding his son's death results in a complicated and captivating story that continues to captivate people seeking the truth. Operation High Jump and Admiral Byrd's explorations sparked heated controversy, but another intriguing chapter is Neuschwabenland, or Neuswia. This territory in Queen Maud Land, which Nazi Germany claimed in 1939, has sparked speculation about hidden sites and advanced technology. Captain Alfred Richer led the German Antarctic mission from 1938 to 1939, which was officially intended to scout whaling zones and press German territorial claims. However, rumors indicate that the true purpose was to locate ancient artifacts and build a hidden base to aid their war operations. This adds another layer of mystery to Antarctica's cold secrets. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more exciting ones.